Right, okay, guys, welcome to challenge number 6. And as I said in the previous challenge, challenge number 5, that this video is going to be just as graphic, just as raw, but it has to be exposed. So again, I am putting up this notice as a warning. Viewer discretion is advised, very strongly advised. Guys, I just want to remind you, if you're 18 years and younger, then I'm going to ask you not to watch this video. I do not want to get into trouble with either YouTube or your parents or anybody else for that matter, but I think it's just, if you're not into this kind of thing, you've never played these games and you've never been exposed to this kind of material, then I strongly suggest you do not watch any further. Rather go to the next challenge, and if the next challenge is, well, the next challenge won't have any graphic material. It's just challenge number 5 and challenge number 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video clip. And it's something that I downloaded and I compiled, and I really feel you need to see it. Now, just to give you a little bit of background on my motivation as to why I put this together. It cannot be denied, and you have to really agree with me that when you look at the previous challenges, particularly last challenge and the challenge before, that, guys, there is an evil force in the world today. It's a spiritual force, it's a demonic, it's a satanic force that has crept its way into Hollywood, into the movie industry. It's crept its way into the television industry, into major media outlets, into books, into magazines, and everywhere. And it's capitalizing on sexuality. It's using the human female body in an exploitatory manner. And it comes down to this. In the beginning, when I think 3 videos ago, I said that there's a link between some computer games and pornography. And we've seen that there is a definite link between games and pornography. And that link is the exploitation of the female body. Now, later on in the next challenge, I'm going to sort of get a little bit more into detail about that and into how one can overcome that and what the real problem it really is and has become. So I want you to watch the next video. And again, let me just put up this warning again. Viewer discretion is advised. In fact, it is strongly advised for every reason that I can think of. All right? Okay. Now, so guys, I'm going to say to you, as a Christian believer, I would never have dreamt that I would ever be putting up a video on YouTube of this caliber. Well, not caliber, but this terrible. It's terrible. It's filth. It's absolute filth. But I'm doing it in the context of this entire series. So here's the video, and then I'll make a comment at the end of that, and we'll close off this challenge before we move to the next challenge. Right, here's the video.
Years earlier, Eidos Interactive's Lara Croft had rapidly become one of the most famous and recognizable game characters of all time, so it was reasonable to think that an action game with a female protagonist could be a smash hit. Alas, Joanna Dark never quite reached the levels of fame occupied by Lara Croft, but Perfect Dark was still a big success. Let's take a look at a commercial for the game.
Welcome to 2023. Big businesses now merge with alien nations. An ancient war is being fought under the sea. The president is about to be cloned. And it's your job to try and save the world. So you've got an important decision to make. What are you going to wear to work? From the team who brought you GoldenEye or N64, meet Special Agent Joanna Dark in Perfect Dark, where you'll find out that the only person man enough to handle a job like this.
But when we look at the types of outfits that female characters are made to wear, we can see that they're both sexualized and completely absurd. Ivy from the Soul Calibur games is a bold warrior who finds herself in battles where sharp, deadly weapons are being used and protective armor would be a must, but the clothing she wears, or lack thereof, is not exactly intended to keep her safe. Cammy from the Street Fighter series is a British Special Forces operative whose thong leotard does a better job of calling attention to her butt than of offering any kind of protection.
All right, let's begin!
Victory. And instead of donning a breastplate, you dash into battle shirt open, navel and whatnot exposed.
Because clothing can shape our first impressions of a character and has a tremendous influence on our sense of who they are every time they're on screen, sexualized outfits can contribute to what's called the hypersexualization of female characters. Hypersexualization in the media occurs when a character is designed to be valued primarily for their sexual characteristics or behaviors. In hypersexualized characters, these attributes are highlighted above all else and made the center of attention, while everything else about the character is made secondary. It can be a cutscene that rests on a woman's butt. It can be clothing that they are wearing or the way they talk, or it can be as basic as the way a female character moves around the game world. The male gaze reinforces the notion that man looks and the woman is looked at.
Okay, guys, I realize that was pretty graphic. But that is just to give you an idea. And this is what the horrifying thing is. The images that you saw flashing on your screen right now were from actual games that came out about 15 years ago. And guys, these are not modern games. These are old games. But this is to give you an idea of how Satan has just infiltrated the minds. And this is his attempt at infiltrating the minds and destroying young people and splitting up families. Guys, let me tell you, there is no stronger... If you were to ask me personally, what do I think the strongest force on this earth is? There are many stronger forces. There's no stronger force than God himself. Yes, but without spiritualizing it, what else would I say is a strong force? I personally think the strongest force on the face of this planet is the sexual drive between a man and a woman and the sexual drive of a man. Okay? And why? Because it's got so many people in trouble. Divorces, suicides, people sitting in jail today. If you look at sex-related crimes, if you look at the Word of God, go through the Scriptures and have a look at so many times where men got themselves into trouble because of their sexual drives and sexual urges. And I know it's a constant battle. I don't even think there are some women that understand the sexual battles that men go through. But this is not a video series on that. Maybe one day, if God puts it on my heart, I'll speak about that. But this video that I've just seen, I wish I could apologize for it, but I can't, because this is the reality and you need your eyes opened. You need to wake up and realize what has actually happened right under your noses if you've never been exposed to this. Now, for those of you who are a little bit more mature, I'm going to close this video off with another video, and then that's going to be the end of the challenge. I'm not going to make any comment after that. I'm going to just play a video, and when that video ends, well, that be the end of this particular challenge. But it's a video that I feel you need to look at. If you're a gamer, if you're a serious gamer, you're opening up yourselves to so many things. And I'm not saying all gamers are watch pornography. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying all gamers who watch pornography go off and do sexual acts. I'm not saying that either. But what you need to expose yourself to and listen and humble yourself to is the truth. And there's a lot of truth out there. And people that have done their research on this know what they're talking about. So I'm going to introduce you to a female doctor. It's a lady who speaks about pornography and sexuality and gaming. So if you're a gamer, you need to look at this. You need to look at this. So I'm going to end off this challenge number 6 with this video coming up right now. And we'll see you in the next challenge.
Gaming and porn addiction are more connected than you would think. Would you believe that 70% of gamers say that they feel like they're addicted to gaming? And similar numbers are being found for people who watch porn. I'm Dr. Trish Lee. We're going to break down the neuroscience behind gaming and porn addiction. But before we do that, let's set the stage. So we know that gaming and porn are up, way up in recent years. And along with the increase, we see an increase in mental and physical health challenges. The mental health challenges include anxiety, depression, loneliness, isolation, and ADHD symptoms. The physical health issues include a sedentary lifestyle that leads to a whole host of problems. We also see an increase in carpal tunnel from gaming and honestly from masturbation when it's coupled with porn consumption. So let's look at the brain science. What the brain science shows is that there's very similar brain performance patterns for those people who are addicted to gaming and those who are addicted to porn. So, what happens is the prefrontal cortex, the front area of your brain, has decreased functioning. So, what that does, it'll impact both your mental and physical health, but primarily your ability to think and to focus, impulse control, and judgment. So, when it comes to impulse control, we know that makes you want to go back to play more games and watch more porn. Impulse control can lead to compulsion over time. So then what happens is the reward center in the midbrain and the reward pathways up to the frontal lobe, they're impacted too. It impacts a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine is the molecule of more motivation and pleasure. So basically, you become motivated back for more and more pleasure from the source that you got it from, gaming or porn. But those consequences play out very differently depending upon what your brain is linked to. If it's linked to gaming, what science shows is when a person goes into a game, it makes them feel more social than in their real life. They may develop more leadership skills within the game, and they may communicate more with people because they're in an avatar. So it makes them feel a little bit more confident. So we know that the reward in a game is leadership, confidence, and achievement. Those are the primary rewards a person is getting for going back to gaming. Yes, it takes them away from their life, but those are the rewards. Now, the reward for going into porn tends to be hypersexuality. Your brain starts looking for sex everywhere, not necessarily achievement, sex. And we know that most of the times what happens is it can increase violent sex as a reward, depending upon what you're watching. Many times there's younger women involved. So now your brain is becoming linked to more violent acts with younger people. At the same time, we know many of the acts will cross over a person's moral boundaries and will impact what's called your sex map, your arousal template. So now you're becoming aroused by different genres and acts, and your brain is becoming linked to that. So the reward is very different when it comes to gaming or when it comes to porn. Your brain becomes linked to social leadership achievement in gaming and sexual violence with younger people that's affecting your arousal template, leading to hypersexuality, leading you to think about sex and want sex all the time. Your brain wants to go back to that high arousal from what you're watching in porn. So there's relationship dissatisfaction and dissatisfaction with your partner. So the consequences become larger in many cases for people who consume porn over gaming. Now, if you're struggling with gaming or porn, I want you to know that they both have been found to be highly addictive, but with the right techniques and tools, it's much easier to leave them both behind. And we know where the problem lies, so does the solution. So the solution is healing your brain from the inside out and being able to get on purpose in your life in terms of your work, your hobbies, and your relationships. And as always, control your brain or it'll control you.